Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta. Thank you for joining our service this morning in honor of Earth Day, which will officially be this coming Thursday on April 22nd. Our sermon this morning is titled Global Warming Blues. It'll be delivered by our minister, Reverend Dan Cameron. So let's get started by turning things over to our music director, David Netches, for our opening hymn.
Good morning, everybody. Today we are in the Hymn Hall of Fame. We'll be singing versions of one of the most famous hymns ever written. Back in the middle of the 19th century, a young Welsh amateur musician, when he was all of 19, wrote a hymn melody, and he called it Hyfrydal. And it's been in every hymnal ever of any denomination. Our own hymnal has three versions of this melody in the Gray hymnal and one version in the Blue Book. And the Blue Book is the very famous Blue Boat Home, which we'll sing at our closing, as our closing hymn. But now we're going to sing another version it's in the Gray hymnal, number 207. Earth was given as a garden. And we are being led on both hymns today by Jerry, I'm blanking on his name, how embarrassing. Jerry Goldman, I am sorry. Please sing along with us at home, and the words are on the screen.
Earth was given as a garden, great fresh and free. Gently guide your sons and daughters into full maturity. Teach us how to trust each other, how to use for good our power, how to touch the earth with reverence. Then once more we'll lead in flower. Bless the earth and all your children, on creation make us whole, interwoven, all connected, planet wide and inmost soul. Holy Mother, life bestowing, bid our waste and warfare cease. Fill us all with grace o'erflowing. Teach us how to live in peace.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Jerry. That was beautiful. Now we're going to have a few announcements from Natalie Reese.
Good morning. As you've already seen, we're using a new Zoom format for Sunday services. You joined today's service with your video on and your audio muted. For the best experience during the service, please select speaker view. The person speaking will automatically appear full screen. You can click the chat button to send a message to everyone, hosts, or directly to an individual. You can see the names of those who have joined the service in the participants list. To participate in Joys and Sorrows, click the reaction button and choose raised hand. Please remain muted until your name is called. When you're done speaking, please mute yourself again. After the service, we'll ask everyone to unmute and switch to gallery view for fellowship. You're invited to stay for UUCA Virtual Fellowship following the Sunday service. The parents group will meet today at 12:15 and the Zoom link is in your announcements. Today at 1 o'clock, we hope you will join us for the first of 2 congregational meetings, the results of the Listening Circles surveys. Details about the meetings and the Zoom links were sent out in an email on April 12th from Amanda Randolph. At the meetings, we'll be voting on which priorities to make our main focus and discuss concrete measures for manifesting them. Please bring ideas and we can't wait to see you. An additional opportunity to attend will take place on Zoom on Friday, April 23rd at 7 p.m. Thank you for your donations to the Family Ministry Wing renovations. As of April 15th, we were still $1,304 away from our goal. Please consider donating to this painting project by April 30th. You can designate your donation to the FM Wing or Adopt a Wall. Excess donations will be used to replenish the multi-year maintenance fund, which is what helped to fund the Family Ministry Wing ceiling project. The UU Monday Meditation Group Gathering will meet online and face-to-face in the sanctuary in a hybrid meeting tomorrow evening, Monday, April 19th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Contact Elizabeth McNabb or Melanie Roberts for information. Those who are interested in meeting in person in the church on Monday nights should get in touch with Chris Garcia and let him know by today. The Wednesday evening exploration group continues their discussion of Ibram X. Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, via Zoom on Wednesday, April 21st at 7 p.m. Contact Jan Parsons for the link and for the chapters they'll be discussing. I don't believe you have to have read the book to attend. The Portable Book Club will meet on Thursday, April 22nd online to discuss King and the Dragonflies. Contact Liz Goodson for information about that. There will be a virtual parents happy hour online this Friday, April 23rd from 8:30 p.m. until y'all decide it's over. Contact Kim Miner for information. A reminder that Sunday RE classes for school-age kids, grades kindergarten through 5th grade, have resumed. They meet from 10:10 a.m. to 10:50. The classes will be led by Lynn Bonner with help from Kim Miner. The Zoom link and other information are in your e-announcements. And for the older kids, the youth group will meet via Zoom next Sunday, April 25th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. That link's in your e-announcements as well. Please put Saturday, May 1st on your calendar and plan on joining us for strawberry picking at 10 o'clock at Grosix Berry Plantation in North Augusta. And I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Please check this week's e-announcements for contact information for these groups and others you may wish to register for. There's also a link to the UUCA calendar there so you can see what else goes on during the week. The April 15th board meeting minutes are now available in the document center on the church homepage, uuaugusta.org. And the church is in phase 4 of our reopening guidelines. This expands the number of individuals allowed in the church building at any one time, permitting larger attendance for activities to take place in areas such as the sanctuary and the common room. Our current masking and social distancing guidelines are still in effect. A complete description for requirements is posted in the April newsletter. The link to the Georgia Department of Public Health COVID-19 and Augusta University immunization information is in your e-announcements. Finally, we are so excited. The worship committee is excited to announce an enhanced in-person service experience next Sunday, April 25th at 11 a.m. in the UUACA sanctuary. You're invited to join us. This is not a full reopening yet, so the attendee experience will be like a studio audience for the Zoom service. The sanctuary capacity is limited to 37 people and you must be masked. Seating will be distanced and attendees will not be able to sing, speak, or move around during the service. Sanctuary seating will be first come, first serve, but we're gonna have some overflow viewing set up in the common room if the sanctuary fills up. So come fill us up. Childcare is not yet available during the service and RE will still be Zoom only. After service fellowship will take place outside. Bring your own coffee and snacks. The reopening committee and worship committee are working together to plan for the time when we can safely reopen in the normal way we all love. We'll be sure to let you know the moment we're able to set a date. And I believe Andy Reese has a comment or has an announcement to make.
If you have been wondering about how we might start bringing our community together after all the divisiveness of the campaign and the years before that, I have too, and so has the Progressive Religious Coalition. We are sponsoring a series of panel discussions to deal with this. We had one on December the 3rd. The next one is this coming Thursday, the 22nd. In honor of Earth Day, is going to feature the environment as something that we all can get together behind. The speakers are going to include our own Sam Boer, who's past president of the State Sierra Club, Mark Alberton, who is a local award-winning videographer and who's currently doing a video on spiritual aspects of the environment. And the third speaker will be Gerald Durley, Reverend Gerald Durley, who was a speaker 3 years ago at the MLK service that the PRC puts on. He is currently the national president of the Interfaith Power and Light. So it's going to be a really good program. Mark your calendars. This Thursday, the 22nd at 7:30 to 9. The link will be in the Thursday announcements. And also you can go to the PRC website, prcaugusta.org. Hope to see you there. This is a really good series and I think a hopeful start for how we can start working together again. Thanks.
Thank you, Andy. Now, let us begin our service. Our chalice lighting this morning is by Henry David Thoreau. Not till we are lost do we begin to find ourselves. And now we will have our joys and sorrows handled by Jan Parsons from the pastoral care team. If there's anyone in the sanctuary that wants to share a joy or sorrow, you can raise your hand and you can come up here to speak your joy or sorrow. Is there anyone in the sanctuary? So to raise our awareness. My favorite is Save the Earth. It's the only one with chocolate. Another good one though is Saving the Earth is plan A. There is no planet B. What both of these say to me is that it's not about saving the Earth. It's about saving ourselves. Earth will do just fine without us, but we can't survive without her. I'm a big fan of science fiction, but the scientific fact is this is the only planet we know of that humans can live on. Just one tiny little planet with so much life floating in a big, dark, lonely universe. It's a beautiful and a scary thing to contemplate. So let's take a couple of minutes now to appreciate how special our planet is and how amazing it is that we get to live here. So everyone take a deep breath and sit back, relax your body, and open your souls to wonder. Our reader for this Sunday, the last of the month, will be Catherine Pershosny. I hope I got that one right this morning. Please come up.
Good morning, everyone, guests and members of UUCA, Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta. I'm happy to be here with you today. And for those of you who don't know me, I have been a member for a little over 7 years, and I have been the president of our board of directors. That was a great honor for me to have. Okay, now for Silent Spring. It's the best known work by Rachel Carson, a noted American marine biologist and environmental trailblazer. I Googled her biography and found out a little bit about her. She aimed at igniting a democratic activist movement that would not only question the direction of science and technology, but would also demand answers and accountability. Rachel Carson was a prophetic voice, and her witness for nature is even more relevant and needed if our planet is to survive into the 22nd century. This is Rachel Carson speaking now. We stand now where two roads diverge, but unlike the roads in Robert Frost's familiar poem, they are not equally fair. The road we have long been traveling is deceptively easy, a smooth superhighway on which we progress with great speed, but at its end lies disaster. The other fork of the road, the one less traveled by, offers our last, our only chance to reach a destination that assures the preservation of the earth. She goes on to say, a who's who of pesticides is therefore of concern to us all. If we are going to live so intimately with these chemicals, eating and drinking them, taking them into our very marrow of our bones, we had better know something about what of their nature and their power. How could intelligent beings seek to control a few unwanted species by a method that contaminated the entire environment and brought the threat of disease and death to their own kind? Yet this is precisely what we have done. We have done it, moreover, for reasons that collapse the moment we examine them. All this has come about because of the sudden rise and prodigious growth of industry for the production of man-made or synthetic chemicals with insecticidal properties. The industry is a child of the Second World War, and in the course of developing agents of chemical warfare, some of the chemicals created in the laboratory were found to be lethal to insects. The discovery did not come by chance. Insects were widely used to test chemicals as agents of death for man. She goes on to quote E.B. White, and he was a famous American author. You may know him by his book, Charlotte's Web, and he also wrote Stuart Little. He said, I am pessimistic about the human race because it is too ingenuous for its own good. Our approach to nature is to beat it into submission. We would stand a better chance of survival if we accommodated ourselves to this planet and viewed it appreciatively instead of skeptically and easier for me to say, dictatorially. Back to Rachel again. To have risked so much in our efforts to mold nature to our satisfaction, and yet to have failed in achieving our goal would indeed be the final irony. Yet this, it seems, is our situation. Then from her biography, I've got the rest. The public's growing awareness of the dangers of chemicals created a natural readership for Silent Spring, serialized in the New Yorker beginning June 16, 1962, and published as a book on September 27, 1962. Silent Spring sold more than 100,000 copies in the first week and was on the bestseller list by Christmas. By now, it has sold more than 2 million copies and has been translated into more than 20 languages. Back to Rachel. Those who contemplate the beauty of the earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. There is something infinitely healing in the repeated refrain of nature, the assurance that dawn comes after night and that spring after winter. Now this is me. April 22nd is Earth Day. Let's celebrate this spring by doing one thing to help preserve and protect our home. Use cloth bags for shopping. Stop using plastic straws. Recycle anything you can, papers, glass, plastic cans, bottles. Eat less meat, shop locally, and so much more. Take time to look around your home and your neighborhood and see where you can begin. And if you've already begun, see where you could do more. And be kind to yourself and to each other, and blessed be.
Thank you, Catherine. And now we have our invitation to generosity. Our church is like our planet in some ways. It's very generous to us. It provides a place for our beliefs to grow and thrive. But like the earth, it also needs to be cared for. We thank those who have given of their time and their money to maintain it for all of us. Those of you who would like to contribute now may do so on the web address appearing on the screen and in the chat. Thank you.
First, I'd like to acknowledge that there are a few people in the sanctuary this morning, and it warms my heart. Well, I entitled this Global Warming Blues, so I'm going to do the best I can. Oh Lord, I got the global warming blues, the rising sea levels, catastrophic storms, species extinction, dramatic climate change, and now the 18th hole at the Masters is underwater. Oh, I've got the global warming blues. Anyway, true story. I'm in Woodstock, Georgia, waiting in the grocery line. It's a very hot day. I mean, it's a hot day. And the person in front of me says, I grew up in Georgia and I've never seen it this hot. This climate change must be real. And then I felt a tap on my shoulder and I turned around and the person said to me, please tell me you don't believe in that global warming BS. And she used all the letters. And I looked at her and just went, it's science. So let's do some science for my friend in the grocery store. All hope is not lost. Without major societal changes over the next decade, the planet will face a global environmental catastrophe. The catastrophe will cause war, poverty, water shortages, and massive species die-offs, according to a dire report in 2018. Though the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report was shocking and disturbing, all hope is not lost. Since we are negatively impacting the environment, it stands to reason then that we could have a positive impact by altering some of our behavior. Imagine that. No doubt these changes will be difficult to do. It will mean permanent lifestyle changes. But if we don't act, sea level rise will displace millions of people, coral reefs will die off completely, and huge numbers of animal species will disappear from the earth. There's no doubt that we're the main part of the problem. That's why we have to come up with a solution. And the first step I would suggest is to understand how exactly we have created this situation. So I'd like to share with you the 10 biggest human causes of global warming. Travel and transportation. United States greenhouse emissions ranked by economic sector. Electricity, 28%. Industry, 22%. Commercial and residential, 11%. Agriculture, 9%. Share of all United States commuters, ranked by mode of transportation. Ranked by mode of transportation. Driving alone, are you ready? 76%. Public transit, 9%. Carpooling, 5%. Taxi or motorcycle, 1%. Industrialization. Change in the annual CO2 emissions from fuel combustion, this is 2000 to 2016, ranked by the amount of increase or decrease. The United Kingdom, negative 29%. The United States, negative 15%. India, plus 135%. China, 190%. But remember, our industrial revolution was the 19th century. Theirs is happening now. Deforestation. See, I have something in common. Deforestation. Did I get it better? Biggest contributors to forest loss ranked by contributing factor. Timber harvesting, 37%. Agricultural expansion, 28%. Wildfires, 21%. Road construction, 12%. Now, I grew up in North Carolina, so I know this well. Livestock production. Livestock production contribution to climate change ranked by contributing factor. Nitrous oxide gas, 65%. Methane gas emissions, 37%. Food crop production, 33%. Land surface by livestock grazing, 26%. Factory farming as a percentage of global production. Poultry, 72%. Eggs, 43%. Pork, 55%. Next category is consumerism. Our need to have the latest gadget and get it delivered to us right now, in addition to a culture where disposability is seen as a positive, is a major contributor to global warming. This bent towards consumerism has ripple effects around the world. The products used by humans contribute to more than 60% of greenhouse gas emissions, and as much as 80% of total land, water, and material use. In addition to the energy it takes to produce all the stuff we buy, keeping it going and using it to its fullest requires even more energy. In 2007, The share of greenhouse emissions from building and maintaining smartphones, computers, and data centers is 1%. By 2040, the percentage is predicted to be 14%. Overuse of electricity. In the United States, electricity generation is tied as the biggest greenhouse gas contributor, coming in at 28%. 68% of electricity in the US comes from fossil fuels, mostly coal and natural gas. The number of devices in an average American household that still draw power when turned off is 50. Overfishing. Human population growth and the resulting overfishing are depleting natural marine stock. This impacts the health and biodiversity of the entire ocean. Use of aerosols. Though some forms of aerosols have been banned in many countries, other forms of them are in still wide use. These products are loaded with greenhouse gases, including CO2 and methane, as well as chlorofluorocarbons, which erode the ozone layer. Production of aerosols has actually increased through the world, with most aerosols being produced in Europe. And we're second. And the last category, our inability to change, is the last of the 10 biggest human causes of global warming. Now hear this. Weather is plummeting. Our food supply through droughts, wildfires, and the changing climate. Meanwhile, the global population is exploding. So the world needs to produce a staggering 70% more food by 2050. I continue to quote, "Insects are beautiful, delicious food," said Megan Miller, founder of a San Francisco-based, are you ready for this? Bitty Foods, B-I-T-T-Y. You'll see why in a second. Which makes cricket flour cookies and baking mixes. Miller, 36, has blonde hair, chunky black sunglasses, and the self-assured air of a PR pro. She worked in the media with a stint in a pastry kitchen and a study of sustainable agriculture before founding Bitty. Her job, she said, outside of a popular Bay Area coffee shop, is to make insects a trendy protein-packed food. Crickets are a sustainable protein source. They can be farmed much more efficiently than meat and some plant proteins, she explains. They don't need as much land or water, adding that they are nearly 70 grams of protein in just 1 cup of cricket flour, much more than almond meal or other grain-free flours. Oh, I forgot to read the first paragraph in the article. Dried crickets taste like dirt something died in. They're crunchy, they stick to your tongue and teeth in a wholly unpleasant way. The wings are the worst part. It's coming. It's coming. People are creating industries around it. It's coming. Too much me and too little we. The excesses of our consumerism is killing the planet and is forging an ever increasing gap between rich and poor. We find ourselves in a dangerous disregard for Earth's delicate ecosystems. I remember from a few years ago, a stranger came up to me and said, we were having this conversation, and he came out and he just announced to us, global warming is a hoax. It's just an excuse for liberals trying to make money on solar panels. Wow. We need a shift in our thinking. The shift I have in mind is a shift from competing against one another so hard to use that same energy to cooperate. When I was young, my dad told me it was a dog-eat-dog world. Everyone is out for themselves. Life is competition and struggle. Sounds very much like social Darwinism. Newsflash, some of the old science has proved false in light of the new discoveries of science. The universe, our world, and our bodies are made of a shared field of energy that unifies everything into one. It is called quantum entanglement. Nature relies upon cooperation and mutual aid for survival, not what Darwin called the survival of the strongest. On a subconscious level, this is a shift for the better. When I served the church in Laguna Beach, California, I went out to visit a newcomer couple. Their directions led me to an RV park. And there they were greeting me as I pulled up to their RV and 2 bicycles. As we talked, they explained to me that they had given up their corporate jobs and big income to live a more simple and fulfilling life in their mind. This really requires a change of heart. The crux of our global warming blues is that we radically need a change of heart. We need a deeper sense of community that leads us to a common vision and a common bond, where people are more important than money. More we, less me. We all know our 7th principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are part. Over the years, I would have the kids wrap spools of yarn around the adult congregation. And then a few adults would tug on the yarn and the kids could feel the tug and thus learn and understand how we're all connected in the web of life. What are we doing? What are we doing with this gift that we've been given? Why destroy and disregard our only home, our only one? We've been sailing all our lives now. Never harbor or port have we known. The wide universe is the ocean we travel, and the earth is our blue boat home.
Connected to David Zythom.
My prayer is that one day soon, we lovingly care for our blue boat home. Have a happy Earth Day, everyone, and it's a beautiful day outside.
Thank you, Reverend Don. And flowing from that sermon, our closing hymn is indeed Blue Boat Home. And you can sing along at home. This is one of our most popular and well-known hymns in the Unitarian tradition. So I hope you do join in, whether you're singing at home or here with us.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep. Drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, the making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I traveled, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Many thanks to Jerry. Very beautifully sung. Our closing words are from the poet Rumi. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. David?
Lord,